Hello everyone, welcome to Miss Lee's class. Today we're going to learn percents of a number. So we're going to calculate percent from 0 to greater than 100%, right? So have you ever used a photocopier? So which percent, so here you have numbers, 25%, 50, 100, 200, 400. So which percent might you choose if you want to reduce the picture? So which percent is reduction? Among those 5 numbers, 25% and 50% are reduction. And which percent might you choose if you want to enlarge the picture? I would choose 200 and 400. Then what about 100%? Is it reducing the picture or enlarging the picture? Nothing, neither. So it's just as it is. 100%, it's just the same size. Alright? Okay, look at the warm-up question. So what we're going to do is we're going to redraw the shape so that each line segment is 150% of the length shown. So everyone, so 150%, is it enlargement or reduction? It's over 100%. So it's enlargement. So I want you to remember, if it is greater than 100%, then that's called enlargement. And less than 100%, and of course it should be greater than 0, is reduction. Since this is 100%, it's enlargement. Okay? Alright. So we are going to label the measurement of each size. So this is 2. So this has a 2 square, 2, 4, 6 squares. And 2 squares, 2 squares, 2 square, and 4 squares, 4 squares, and 2 squares. I want you to look at 150% of the length. So write this down, 150% of the length. Okay, first, we're going to change 150% to a decimal number. So how do you change 150% to a decimal number? We learned this in the previous sections. What you do is you simply remove the percent sign and move 2 decimal places, which is 1.5. It becomes 1.5 in decimal. 1.5. Okay, change the percent to a decimal. And what does of mean in mathematics? When you see of in mathematics, that's same as multiplication. Okay, so what you're going to do is 1.5 times by the length. Okay, so we already put all the measurement, we already wrote all the measurement here, all the lengths here. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply 1.5. So 2 times 1.5. So 1.5 times of 2, that is 3. So you can just do it using your calculator. 2 times 1.5. So if it is confusing, use your calculator. That is 3. So 2 centimeter, 2 becomes 3, right? So we're going to draw 3 centimeter, 3 squares. And I'm just gonna draw it here. And 6 times 1.5. Again, using your calculator, I want you to do it. Then that becomes 9. So there will be 9 squares. 3, 6, 9 squares. So 6 squares becomes 9 square. Again, 2 times 1.5 is 3. So we're gonna draw a line with 3 squares. 2 becomes 3. So 3, 3. And 4 times 1.5, that is 6. So we're going to come down 6, 6, and 2 times 1.5, again 3. So it becomes like this. Okay, so 150% of enlargement. Okay, you can find each length by multiplying 1.5. Make sense, everyone? All right, let's move on. Okay, we're gonna practice write each percent as a decimal. 100%. So remove the percent, move to decimal, it becomes 1. 101%, 1.01. 150%, 1.50. You can omit 0 below the decimal place. 200, 2.00. Again, you may omit zeros since it's below the decimal place, decimal point. Okay, 1%. Remove the percent, you move to decimal, that is 0.01. Okay, what about 0.2%? Again, you remove it, move 1 to decimal places, that's 0.002. Okay, so I want you to do those two questions, 0.05%, 0.72%, change it to a decimal number. Go ahead. Okay, 0.5% becomes 0.005. And 0.72% move to decimal place, and that's 0.0072. Next, 1/2%. So before we change this to a decimal, we're going to change the fraction to a decimal number percent. So 1/2, what's 1/2 in decimal? That's 0.5%. So we're not done yet. It's still in percent form. So we move percent sign and move to decimal places. Then that's 0.005. Okay, when you have a fractional percent, there should be 2 steps. Remember, you have to do 2 steps. First, you change this number to a percent. You change this number to a decimal percent, and then you change the percent to a decimal. Make sense? 3/4%. 3/4. What is 3/4 in decimal? If it is confusing, use your calculator. 3/4, that is a 3/4. 3/4 is 75 cents. Is that right? So that's 0.75%. If you change that to a decimal decimal percent. And again, you remove the percent sign, move 2 decimal places, and that becomes 0.0075. All right? 12 and 1/2%. So everyone, we have 12 above the decimal point, and 1/2 is 0.5, right? So it's 12.5%. This is the first step, and we do the second step. So we remove the percent sign and move 2 decimal places, right? Then, so remove the percent sign, move 2 decimal places, then that becomes 0.125. Next, I want you to try this question by yourself. Pause the video and try this by yourself. All right, let's do it together. 10 this is above the decimal point, and 1/5. If you change this to a decimal number, that's 0.2%. Again, we move the percent, move 2 decimal places, and that will be 0.102. Okay, again, everyone, when you have fractional percent, you have to do 2 steps. Step 1, step 2. Okay? Some students think this is just a 0.5. No, it's 0.5%. And if you change that to a decimal number, that will be 0.005. Okay? Alright. So what decimals correspond to percent greater than 100%? Okay, so if you look at this, those are over 100%. And the decimal numbers are greater than one number. Look at it closely. If it is greater than 100%, and the decimal number is greater than, so write it down, the decimal numbers, the decimals greater than 1. And what decimals correspond to percent less than 1%? Okay, those are less than 1%. Those are less than 1%. And if you look at those decimal number, they are less than what number in decimal? So those numbers are less than 0.01. So we say the decimals less than 0.01. Alright, next question. Show 0.2% and 110% on a number line. So I want you to try this by yourself. I want you to draw number lines like this. Oops. And this is 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, Say this is 100. So I want you to show 0.2% here and 110% on a number line. Yeah, so this time 0. I want you to represent 0.2% and 110% on a number line. Go ahead, everyone. All right, everyone. 0.2%. This is even less than 1. You have to find very small area. So here you have 0 and you have 1. So 0.2% should be somewhere here. Very, very small number. And 110% is greater than 100. That should be over here. Okay, more precise picture is here, everyone. If you look at this, 0.2% is even less than 1%. That should be placed over here. Because 0.2 is same as 1/5 of 1%. So you break 1 into 5 and this is 0.2%. Right? And 110% is greater than 100%. So that will be over here. Alright, everyone, let's move on. Okay, I want you to look at example 1A. So I have 150% of $15.50. So what you're going to do is you're going to change this to decimal, change of to multiplication, and multiply 15.5. So 150%. How do you change this to a decimal number? So remove the percent and move it to like this. So 1.50 times 15.5. All right? And put this into your calculator. Okay. 1.50 times 15.5. The answer is 23.25. So 23.25. So the answer is $23.25. Right? Okay, next, B. 0.1% of 1,500. So we're going to change 0.1% to a decimal. So that will be, move 2 decimal places to the left, and that becomes 0.001, and of is multiplication, times it by 1,500. Okay, let's use a calculator. 0.001 times 1,500, then that is 1.5. Okay, everyone, C, 1 and 1 over 2%. So we're going to change this to a decimal percent first, and then we're going to change this to a decimal number. Okay, so we need to move 2 decimal places, then that becomes 0.015 of 20,000. Okay, use your calculator. 0.015 times 20,000. That is 300. Alright? Okay, so when you solve this kind of problem, first, step 1, change the percent to a decimal number. Step 2, change of to multiplication and calculate. Okay? Okay, let's move on. Percent greater than 100% are used by store owners to calculate the price of item they sell. A store has to make a profit, that is, to sell goods for more than the goods cost to buy. Okay, so cost price plus profit is the selling price. All right, example 2. The cost price of a winter coat is $80. So I want you to write it down. The cost price is $80. And everyone, if you're a store owner, if you buy something at $80, would you sell it at $80 or would you leave some profit? So you want to make some money, so you would leave some profit, right? So now I want you to look at this phrase. The selling price of the coat is 230% of the cost price. I want you to highlight it. 230% of the cost price. So write that down. 230% of the cost price. Oops. The cost price. So this is the selling price. Alright? Okay, so we're going to change this to a mathematical equation. to 30%. Let's change this to a decimal number. So we're going to move 2 decimal places and remove percent sign. So that becomes 230 of, what's the cost price, everyone? What's the cost price? $80, right? So if you calculate it, that becomes the selling price. The question is asking you to find the selling price. So what is the selling price of the coat? Okay, so use this to simply put this into your calculator to find the answer. Let's do it together. 2.30 times 80. That's $184. So the selling price is $184. Right? Okay, example 3. In 2004, the population of First Nation people living on reserve in Alberta was 58,782. About, here, highlight this phrase. 0.28% of these people belong to Mikisew Cree band. Okay, 0.28% of these people. Who are these people, everyone? First Nation. First Nations people living on reserve in Alberta. Okay? Okay, so we're going to change this to a mathematical sentence. 0.28%. Let's change this to a decimal number. So move 2 decimal places. And that is 0.0028. Right? Of is multiplication. The number First Nation people living on reserve in Alberta, how many are they? 58,782. So 58,782. Okay, we're going to calculate it using your calculator. So 0.0028 times 58,782. So the answer is 164.58. So let's round it to 1 decimal. So that let's round it to the whole number. So because it's a number of people. So 165. So it's about 165 people. Alright everyone, that is it for today. Now I want you to start doing your homework. Thanks for watching everyone. Bye bye.